Hello, my fabulous chemistry students. Video number 1 of the periodic table unit. Let's get through this quick and easy assignment on learning targets and the big idea. Ready? Here we go. So, big idea of the unit. The periodic table is arranged by atomic number. We now know what that is from last unit. In such a way that the properties of the elements become predictable. Good? There is a lot of hidden information in this periodic table, and we are going to unpack it all. So, to start, there's like 10 of these. So give yourself room to write them. You do have the whole rest of the page, right? So when we are done, you will be able to say, I can define the specialized vocabulary of the periodic table unit. Describe the origin, history, and arrangement of the periodic table. Who are the two dudes and how did they arrange their periodic table? There's differences. You need to know them. I can understand the modern arrangement of the periodic table and periodic law. That's the predictability piece. Okay, you will be able to say that. I can identify by name the different groups. There's 4 of them. All right, of elements on the periodic table. You're going to need to know all 4. I can identify where in the periodic table the metals, the nonmetals, and the metalloids are. We went over this in boot camp, so we will hit it again, and by this time you should have it down pat. And you're going to need it for next unit big time. You are going to color code the periodic table due to important things like groups, families, properties, metals, nonmetals, that kind of thing. So there's like 4 coloring activities. Okay. Identify the elements on the periodic table that are solids, liquids, and gases at room temperature. We went over this in boot camp. We will go over it again so that we can solidify it in periodic table. I can describe what an allotrope is. There's a new word. It's not isotope, it's allotrope. And you'll also learn the 7 diatomic elements. We learn those in boot camp, so we will reinforce them here in periodic table. Beautiful. I can describe how nuclear shielding and effective nuclear charge are related. These are the 2 major concepts that you need to know for the unit. They will help us figure out how and why not only it's arranged, but how an atom acts compared to another atom. And so these are 2 huge concepts. We need to know both of them. And I can describe the trends in atomic radius, reactivity, ionization energy, and electronegativity. Those are some big new words, ionization energy and electronegativity. We'll define them in vocabulary unit, and then we will put them to use in the last, mostly in the last video, which is all on the trends. What happens when I go across, what happens when I go down? We need to be able to understand it in terms of all 4 of those things, so that's why it gets a little bit complicated. Okay, and I think that's pretty much our unit. Here is our tracker on everything like normal. There's going to be a vocab quiz. The self-CASEL is going to be mandatory this unit. I was late last unit in rolling that out, so we're going to make sure it's mandatory for periodic table unit. What that means by mandatory is if you don't do it, it's a 0. I don't think I'm going to do that for atoms. So you'll be watching this post atoms, so I don't think I'm going to. I did that on atoms. It's more properly set. I see 2 Pogles, and I see a lab. I don't think there's a lab this unit. Yeah, I don't see lab. Yeah, no lab for a periodic table. That's kind of tough. So we're going to do ionic versus covalent. There might be a metal non-metal lab that I forgot to put in there. So let me check. We might do a metal versus non-metal lab. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. It should be in there. Metals versus non-metals is the periodic table lab. I don't see it. Do I see lab anywhere? Poggle. No, I don't see lab. Gotta read it sideways. I don't see lab. Was it?